dragon's winter lairs, and stopped in at High Curat to visit her nephew Prince Costas and his family. Many times they'd left their small retinue behind and slept in the open, hunted or hawked as fancy dictated, and forgotten for days at a time that there were titles and responsibilities attached to their names. But having escaped the summer heat, they returned after the Riala to find their princedom had taken on all the soothing qualities of a smelting furnace. The sun blazed, the dunes burned with shimmer visions, and heat clung to every stone. Rohan shrugged off the brutal climate, being desert born and bred. But even though she'd spent 2/3 of her life here, Sinead felt the heat more as she grew older. She settled on a mossy rock and hauled off her boots. Gasping with the shock as she plunged her feet into cool water, she closed her eyes and tried to dream herself back at River Run. No use. If Avali hadn't arrived yesterday with her foredoomed plea, she could have been at Radzin by now, enjoying its crisp sea breezes, visiting Marken and Hollis at Whitecliff. "Don't get too comfortable," advised Rohan from behind her. "We've just been graced with an emissary from Prince Velden of Grib."
Damn it, what's wrong with these people? Why couldn't they have talked to us at the Riala?
Doubtless they had their reasons.
Whatever they are, I don't like them.
Come on, High Princess. We played all summer. Time to get back to work. She kicked water at him across the little pool.
I don't want to.
Now you sound like Jihan.
Well, you have to admit, people make things difficult. You can hardly pretend to be reluctant with your power when they're always handing you chances to use it.
Pretend? He frowned.
Demanding that you use it, actually. At least Paul's honest about it. He loves to fix things and makes no pretense of
just be grateful that someone still finds it worthwhile to consult us old folks, he drawled. That silenced her. She followed him back through the gardens and upstairs, gnawing over his implication. It was amusing to tease each other about oncoming old age, especially when neither believed the other had aged at all, but at times they were forcibly reminded that the years were indeed accumulating. The knowledge had sneaked up on them at first. Perhaps it had started at the Riala of 731, Paul's first as husband and father as well as prince. He had spoken for Prince March before, of course, but with his new family had come new awarenesses. The terms he gained, independent of anything Rohan won for the desert, were highly advantageous and gave subtle hints about his plans for his daughter's future. Rohan and Sinead had congratulated themselves on their success. After all, they had taught Paul everything he knew. But more leisurely reflection and repetition of the experience in 734 and again this very summer had shown them a hard truth. While the princes still looked to them, they also looked to Paul, the next High Prince. Rohan and Sinead had given him the world in which he exercised his share of the family cunning. The peace they'd established had lasted with only minor lapses since 704. They'd founded a school for physicians and a scriptorium. Specific borders agreed to by all princes ensured that no more wars were fought over a few square measures of land. Arts and sciences thrived. Interwoven trade made the princedoms economically dependent on each other. Most importantly, Rohan had nudged the other rulers into standardizing much of the legal code. Over the years, this had come to be known as the High Prince's Writ, and it would be his most lasting achievement. It was more than any other High Prince had done before him, more than anyone else could have hoped to do in a lifetime, even if anyone else had been.